Yes, just want to understand like what's the duration of this demo? I have a hard time once like I had to visit somewhere. Hello.
So, yeah, we have a trainer, Johnny. So, I'm just checking with him if he can hear us.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm very much there, alive and breathing with all of you with me. Let me know when shall we get started.
You can start the session, Johnny.
Perfect. All right. Let me start to share my screen and we'll get going. All right. I hope my screen is visible to everyone. Yes, no. Okay, thanks, Himanshu. All right, so very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening based upon where you are. Myself, Johnny Cash, and today we will be discussing the first introductory session for our upcoming demo session learning for security operation module of ServiceNow. So this is going to be our agenda. We'll first discuss that why we need security operation. We'll discuss about the different modules that we have. So for instance, we have security incident response, we have vulnerability response, we have application vulnerability response, we have configuration compliance, and last but not the least, threat intelligence. And then yes, the favorite discussion gonna be in the end, that would be a wrap up, next step, and your queries. So it's gonna be a time bound activity wherein will be allocated standard time to all the discussion. So with this, let's roll the ball. I want all of you to just have a look into this image and just think for 10 seconds that what is this? Okay, so it says, imagine waking up to find your organization data leaked overnight. Yeah, think of a situation wherein all your WhatsApp chat, all your personal messages is viral everywhere. Think of it from an organization perspective. What's going to happen when the data is leaked, and there are a lot of questions that would be there in your mind, that how come it leaked, who did this, how it happened, what are the remediation steps we're going to be taking, what next, and a lot of them. So don't worry, in the upcoming slides we're going to be discussing what ServiceNow has to offer to counter, balance, and take action on this kind of situation. Okay, but we are not going to have a discussion going without you knowing me and I knowing all of you. So let me introduce myself. I'm Johnny Cash. I hold around 17 years of experience in IT, and I've been working with ServiceNow from more than 15 years. So when ServiceNow was a baby in the womb, when it was getting created, from that time we have been working, delivering passionately all the modules, all the projects, and a lot more. So I am based out in Netherlands, and I'm trying to make sure that everyone worldwide just learn ServiceNow and implement for the business, for self, and get going. So let's start. Who's gonna be introducing first? Let's do it in alphabetical order, or yeah, I love volunteers coming forward. I see Murthy, you just unmuted yourself.
Yes, Johnny. So myself, Murthy, I have 13 years of experience in IT, and all these 13 years I worked for IRM-based companies who can automate the IRM use cases and deliver to the various clients. ServiceNow is my third platform, which I'm working on these IRM automations, and I'm certified administrator, developer, and three implementation certifications. And I would like to extend my area of work and my area of expertise into SecOps because it's very much near to my day-to-day work.
Wonderful, Murthy. So you seems to experience participant today, and it's a wonderful thing you're doing because SecOps and IRM are like brother and sister. They are the defense system
Right.
for a company. They are the one that make sure that you are resilient, up to the mark, and very much secure. Wow, it's gonna be very much interesting for you. All right, who gonna go
Right,
next?
exactly.
Who gonna be going next? uh, my facilitator from Snow Lab would like to help me out with supporting who gonna be next, talking about themselves. And it's very important for me to know all of you because basis that only I'll be talking on a high level or on a low level or a mix. Because now I know Murthy is an IRM guy. So while I'll be talking about SecOps, I'll be touching base the concept, the pointers that impact the SecOps and IRM. So if you're new to ServiceNow, fine. I really need to know so that I can adjust my audience accordingly because SecOps is a wide thing to talk about. I can spend years talking about it, but spending years is useless if the audience is not able to understand. So I need to understand. So I see that Murthy already doing IAM project and he wants to learn SecOps. So I understand that he is from a corporate world. But I have been talking to people who wanted to transition to IT, who are already in ITSM people. So I really need to know my audience. And based upon that, I'll be giving you some real scenarios that you'll be able to correlate. Okay, so maybe okay, Himanshu, please go ahead, and then Akash, you go
Hi,
ahead. I
hi,
see
John.
both of you unmuted at the same time. So Himanshu, go ahead.
Yeah, can you hear me, Johnny?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you for taking up this session. Johnny, I have 9 years of IT experience, and with ServiceNow, I'm little struggling. I've worked on ITSM. I know little bit about ITOM, little bit about HRSD. So my agenda and plan of action is to do CAD. I'm a CSA certified right now. So SecOps, I just joined the session to have out of my curiosity. So yeah.
Wonderful. Okay, so Utkarsh, sorry, Akash.
Yeah, hi Johnny, hi everyone. So I have close to 10 years of experience. I worked on multiple areas of ServiceNow. From the nascent stage of ServiceNow I started. So I worked in custom applications, service portal, and ITBM side. Uh, more more of the thing like I'm trying to break into GRC and SecOps area because both the things go hand in hand. And I'm looking for a real-time experience, I can say, because in SecOps a lot of integrations happens. So I want to understand how it happens, and of course on the concept part, but on integrations and how the third-party systems you wanna take in the training. I want to understand that.
Perfect. Thank you so much. All right, let's go ahead. Utkarsh, do you want to try?
Yeah, sure, John. So, I'm a 4 years experience in the ITSM module, and recently I'm going through the IRM module. So that's why I am looking forward for the SecOps to know more about what the security operations that ServiceNow is following. So that's why I am looking to get more dig into this. So
Perfect.
yeah.
Thank you so much. Raghu?
Yeah, so I'm almost new to ServiceNow and just want to have a feel of what SecOps is. Otherwise, I'm interested in TPRM and GRC modules.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Okay. And then who's left? Gulshan?
Hi everyone, and hi Johnny. Thanks for this demo session. And I have 10 plus years of IT experience, and I am new to service now, but I am getting a project towards SecOps and vulnerability management. So that's the reason I enrolled for this training to understand the SecOps and other vulnerability management and other related areas in depth. So thank you.
Perfect. Whitey? Whitey.
Hello. Hello. Yeah, can you hear me?
Hello. Loud and clear.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay. So basically, my name is Yajnesh. I have total 17 years of experience into IT industry and very new to ServiceNow Switch recently. And basically, my designation is Service Solution Architect, a role which I am playing in my current organization. But as per my industry expecting one or two in modules expected experience. Okay, they have so expecting that two one or two modules. So ITS apart from ITSM, I would like to learn SecOps. That would be a unique skill set in the market, so that it would be a more opportunities and like that to learn
Perfect.
to enroll this training. That's it
Perfect.
from me.
Perfect. Okay. All right. So we have only Flancha left. Flancha.
Hi, Johnny. So, I have 4.5 years of experience in IT and in ServiceNow as well. I have majorly worked on ITSM, CSM, and custom applications, and I want to explore more on the SecOps side now.
Perfect. Okay. So good. So I see that we have a mix of expertise here. We have freshers like Raghu, who is just stepping into service now, and we have experienced people like Murthy and like Akash, like Himanshu, who are already a lot of experienced people, but they wanted to learn SecOps and nice. So okay, now without wasting any further second, let's me just sort of tell you what's gonna be the discussion point for our upcoming session. It's gonna be very high level. Don't think that I'm gonna be focusing on one topic and would be discussing stretching out, but it's gonna be very high level for today, but it will give you a glimpse of what's gonna be next. So on the screen you see the product integration, and don't just hold back by seeing that there's so many new modules, there's so many new tools name, and then what is the service now doing at the middle? No, it's I'll help you explain. So SecOps in an application in service now that plays as a defensive act, helping the organization to identify the incident, and these incidents are security incident. Once the incident has been identified, they help the organization to remediate it and move it to closure. At the same time, SecOps in an application that is helping the organization understand that what kind of the security incident is, what wrong it can go from where it is being created, and at the same time, SecOps is an application that provides the intelligence related to an incident, that from where it has been originated, at what different places it was being originated, who is the creator of this particular malware or any defect. So here on the screen, you see different tool name. You see the different detection tool. You have CrowdStrike, you have Microsoft, Zscaler. You might have seen different tools getting installed on your corporate laptops, and it keeps on scanning, keeps on detecting any anomaly. So once that has been done, the data is being sent to SIEM. So SIEM is kind of a side of event management modulator. So it stands for security incident and event management. So it's kind of ingest the data from different detection tool, understand it, and then try to process it. ServiceNow, what it is doing is ServiceNow is saying that you send all the data to us. We're gonna be understanding it. We're gonna be doing the R&D on it. We're gonna be doing the correlation, and we're gonna be helping you in remediating by suggesting the best method. So ServiceNow can ingest the data. So this detection, SIEM solution, this is something that comes under your. Hello, Osama. Good evening, good afternoon, based upon location. So I just see you have joined. It's just that we have just started and we are discussing on a very high level. So rest assured, you have not missed anything. A new session would be coming in the upcoming months. So rest assured. Okay, so now we see SIEM solution and detection is ingesting the data into service now, and this has been aligned with the module called Security Incident Response, SIR. So in this module, we analyze the security incident, we devise a response, and then we act upon it. At the bottom, you see different tool name Tenable, College, Rapid7, Expose, Microsoft, Veracode, and you see vulnerability and misconfiguration. So what it does is, uh, think of an example that our IT just calls up and say that, hey, Johnny, you need to just make sure that all the employees in your company should be scanning the laptop tonight because there's a new patch that has been installed by Microsoft and we are suspicious about it. And I would say that, okay, fine, why don't you do it yourself? Why I would have to sort of, just click on install it and then restart the system? So I'm like, fine, okay, they'll be doing it automatically. So once that has been done, these are tools that's gonna be scanning your system, scanning your server to find out, are there any vulnerability that is still residing on it? Is there something wrong with it? So they keep on scanning the system. And once the vulnerability is detected, it just sent into ServiceNow. Then we have threat intelligence. As the name suggests, threat intelligence gives us the intelligence of a threat. So, for instance, there's a snooping that keeps on happening for one of the location. So now a team of experts come and they say that the snooping is happening from this IP, and this IP is originated from XYZ location in the world, and the actor, the creator of this IP are these people, and this IP is also doing the snooping not only in Asia region, it is also doing the snooping in the APEC region. So this kind of intelligence is being given by by these threat intelligence tool. They are recorded future, shed on, virus total, and a lot more. So this also send the data into ServiceNow. Uh, and then ServiceNow, we know you all are ServiceNow expertise. You know what orchestration mechanism it has. It can just automate the thing. So ServiceNow is sort of doing the orchestration by using these security tools, and it's just doing everything. You just have to sit back and relax. ServiceNow would be doing everything. So from creating the security incident, detecting the security incident, detecting the vulnerability, enriching it with the detail, ServiceNow would be doing everything in this box. So this box talks about the ServiceNow, which is having these three modules I talked about, and it has been empowered with workspace, CMDB correlation, analytics, automation, machine learning, workflow, and there's too much to it. You know very well how ServiceNow is going. So that's on a very high level what the SecOps is. Okay. All right, so that's a workflow for our security incident response. Uh, like I was saying, that the security incident is being created, and then once it is being created, it is being sent into ServiceNow. And these SIEM solution are the one that would be sending the data, sending the alert into ServiceNow. So we'll be discussing in detail that it can be email alert, it can be API call, it can be manual thing. We'll discuss, but for now, just think something getting into ServiceNow, and we have this security incident response or SIR being created. So like you have incident, INC is the nomenclature, INC, and then you have that numeric number. Similarly, security incident has a naming convention of SIR and followed by the numeric number. So security incidents are being created, and like we know in ITSM or in any other module of service now, we're gonna have a record created, and then we're gonna be prioritizing it, we're gonna be giving it severity, priority, impact, and assigning it to the right team. So same kind of thing would be happening here. Now once that has been done, uh, I was talking about the CM. This I'll be discussing at the end. I was talking about this data getting enriched with the threat intelligence information, and that's what ServiceNow would be doing automatically. So think of it as a phishing email, or think of it as an email that you get on your corporate email ID. Something like that, that you won $5,000 prize, click here to claim it. We generally get it on our Gmail IDs, on our Mac IDs, on our corporate IDs. So these are kind of phishing email. So they give you a bait, and then they try to sort of entangle you with that malware. Think of it that you getting some kind of some kind of phishing email. you saying that this seems to be a phishing email, let me send to my SecOps team. They would be creating a SIR, and then the processing would happen that this lookup rule, this threat intelligence will automatically click on that URL hyperlink and will check that from where this has been originated, what it has been, and then it's gonna give the enrichment. If it is a wrong one, they'll say false positive. No need to worry, it's a genuine. But if no, then the people will come into play. The guardians will say that okay, we're gonna take the front seat and we're gonna fight this. So you can have automatic playbook. These are step by step things that gonna be happening, and then they can even remediate. Followed by it, you can close it. You can do post-incident review and a lot of things. And then this correlation matching rule I'm going to be discussing sometime later because it would be too much to discuss without any workflow, without any sort of architecture annotation explained to you. So leave it for now, but it's a very important thing because that's the power of the platform. That's how you feel empowered because you have the CMDB, you have that minute detail, and you have the workflow. All right. Let me move on to the next tier. Okay, so this is going to be the maturity level. We'll skip it for now. We'll be discussing in the upcoming slide when dedicated session for SIR gonna be happening. Okay, so again, the CMDB and SIR I'll be discussing at a later point of time. Should not be doing it right now. Then, like I was saying, you can create a security incident via different way. Again, I mean, we'll cover it. We'll cover it. Don't worry. Okay, so now let's discuss about ServiceNow vulnerability integration architecture. So you see what's happening. See the sequence of data that is flowing. You have this different application. You have application vulnerability, configuration assessment, container vulnerability, infrastructure vulnerability, and then it's just sending every data into ServiceNow. Once the data has been sent, what can happen is you can isolate the host. Let's take an example of that phishing email. I'll send it to my SecOps team. They just run a scan on it, and after running a scan, they find that this is something that gonna infect the whole network ecosystem. Let's isolate it, or let's fix that particular application, or let's remediate it. Let's do the server patching. So vulnerability response module is supporting us with a lot of details in it. So it can help us with container vulnerabilities. It can help us with infrastructure vulnerabilities. It can help us with application vulnerabilities. It can help us with configuration assessment. And then there would be vulnerability response. So one think of vulnerability as that you have a server, and in server you just had a patching being done, and then with that patching you feel that some bugs are also being placed into the system. So think like Qualys can be one of the tool that is doing that scanning. It just scans the server and says that there is this VIT that is something being created and can infect a whole network. So it can do the infrastructure scanning. That is called infrastructure vulnerability. The vulnerability in your infrastructure. Then you can have container vulnerabilities. It's container vulnerability is very new. It was recent last year only released. 99% of the client are very afraid of giving it a go, and it's just a pilot project are going, but it is kind of very new. It's a vulnerability in the container. That's it. Then configuration assessment. Now, this Johnny here saying that there can be a misconfiguration that the meeting has not been set up rightly. It should have been a Zoom call. Something I can say. Similarly, configuration assessment is the configuration that has been assessed based upon the different policies that are being set up in our scanning tool. So I'm sure that Murthy and Utkarsh, who are already IRM people, would be able to correlate that you have those policies, you have the controls, and then when you do the control assessment, if the control fails, then there is an issue is being created. Similarly, in the configuration assessment, what ServiceNow is doing it, every tool has their specific policies. So for instance, Qualys will be saying that I want this servers ABC to be up to date with the patch. Now, this is one of the policies. There would be test results. There would be testing done on these policies. So if something is not going by the books, then it would be detected here. And this comes in configuration, compliance configuration assessment module. Then we have application vulnerability. Now, day to day, we are developing the code. We are deploying the application, but never ever we talk about, hey, have you scanned the ServiceNow application? Hey, have you scanned the Oracle application? No. But ServiceNow is saying that we have the solution for that also. So this comes into our application vulnerabilities. So that's what the application vulnerability would be feeding the data into ServiceNow, and then it's a closed loop operation. You see this? It's closed loop operation wherein from the detection of a vulnerabilities or AVIT, that is application vulnerabilities, the system would be remediating it and then would be making sure that in the next scan, no vulnerability has been detected. So it's a closed loop operation, and we're gonna see that when I'll just show the architecture and the workflow in detail. But that's what vulnerability response application is. Okay, let's see. So, like I was saying, that I would be scanning the server. Once the scanning has been done, what I can do is if there are something wrong, some vulnerability been detected, then ServiceNow would be creating the VIT. We just say like VIT and then the numeric number proceeding it. Then we're gonna be doing the same thing that we have been doing, automatic prioritization, assignation, ownership. Then there's a way you can group the same kind of vulnerability together. So this is called, so in the past releases we used to call as vulnerability group, but from 2022, ServiceNow has renamed it and it's calling as remediation task. Now, once that has task been created, we can defer it. We can proceed for an exception. It's just like I see it's a false positive. Let's close it. Or I say that this policy is something for which we should get an exception. Or think of a situation wherein I would be relieving my asset and then it would be just gonna be destroyed, and I don't want to spend any further second on remediating it, making it to work. I'll say okay, fine. Let's take an exception. Let's bury it there only. So this kind of exception you can do it. Then, like I was saying, ServiceNow is giving the client, the end user, the platform of the power. You have the CMDB wherein you have all the data. You have the application that is security operation, and then you have the IT team. So it's bringing everything together. So once the security team says that something VIT has to be created, ServiceNow would be taking an action, and then it would be making sure that IT team is also being involved. What happened is that IT team works in a different world, security teams works in a different world, asset team works in a different world, and then everything is gone for a toss. So the coordination with the IT team is also happening here, and then we're just gonna be resolving the VIT, and we're gonna be sort of doing the rescan, and we'll be saying perfect, it's been done, and we'll be pushing into a dashboard. So the third party integration, let's ignore it for now. It's a CI matching rule. We'll do it later on. It's gonna be the topic that needs more attention to what we talk, what we discuss, and what we saw. So not gonna be covering today. Leave it, change management remediation, leave it, deferral process. Let's discuss the application vulnerability response. So, like I was saying, that we have vulnerability response. Uh, in that we have server related vulnerability being diagnosed, and we also have application vulnerability. So these are kind of vulnerability that are being detected in custom or out of the box software application development. So it can scan your specific application using different penetration testing, using SEST method. So the different ways of scanning the application, and then giving it a result there. And it starts with AVIT, like you have VIT, you have SIR, it starts with AVIT. This slide talks about the lack of visibility into application security risk. So there's a security manager, we call them application security manager, sitting, relaxing, but not aware of what's been analyzed and identified and diagnosed in this application testing tool, and then unaware of its development team who is developing the code, senior executive just using it, enjoying, and then risk manager not being aware of it. So what is happening here is that it's gonna be in a way that ServiceNow is saying that don't worry, sit back. We're gonna be doing the testing. We're gonna be involving the risk manager using the IRM module. We're gonna be involving the development team using the strategic portfolio management application. We're gonna be involving a senior executive. It can be your somebody from HR team or finance team. It can be your app manager. So this all could be working not in silos, but working as a team, providing a justified and reasonable solution. So that's a problem. Everyone is working in their own world. And like I was saying, there's the collaboration happening between the development team, and think of it by yourself only. Have you, when you're working on a development of an application, have you ever talked to any of the SecOps or any of the security team guy? The floor is open. Please, I wanted to make sure nobody just leaves. Has anybody ever got a chance to talk to any of the security team expert, or has anybody reached out to you that, hey Himanshu, or hey Osama, your application has a bug. It's been identified in a pen test. Has it ever happened with any of you? Yes, no. Okay, so it has never been so these all work in different worlds, right? So ServiceNow is bringing everything together. Yeah, Imanchu, you're saying something. I just noticed you unmuted yourself.
Oh, nothing, Johnny. The only bugs I get is from the testing team after my development work
Yeah,
is over, not from the SecOps.
absolutely, absolutely. So different teams are working in silos. So ServiceNow is kind of it's just the start of the new way of working. It's just kind of doing uh, in silos, but yeah, it's just stitching different piece of the puzzle together. Okay, so now let's move on to the next. So it's just an architecture of how the application vulnerability works. It's just that Veracode is one of the tools that gonna be ingesting the data into ServiceNow. There are these national vulnerability database and common weakness enumeration. I just discussed with what are these in a later session, but not now. Then it would be just checking what we have in the CMDB, what we don't have. The CI lookup rule gonna be actioned upon. It would be taking data from CMDB. Then based upon it, the risk calculation gonna be happening. The assignment rule gonna be triggered, and the people would be assigning it, fixing it, and then if required, a change can be implemented. So that's what the architecture workflow of application vulnerability is. The same thing I just talked about. Okay, now let's talk about the configuration compliance. So, like I was saying that we can have the policy being written for a specific company way of working. Say, for instance, think of it. Okay, think of it as a client facing server, and I have a policy that this client facing server, which is supporting the payroll process, should always be up and running, and there should not be any vulnerability. It should be scanned on a daily basis, and it's for a banking client, and it's gonna be one of the critical application, one of the critical server, and the company don't want to take any chance. So company will be saying that okay, fine, you just why don't you create a policy in GRC of IRM module? So we have a policy created. Fine, we are going to have control created that scanning should be done on a daily basis and all those things. That's one part of the puzzle. The other part of the puzzle is there would be tools that would be scanning the different devices, the different servers, and these tools are something that talks with the SecOps application. Think of one of the tool as Qualys that would be scanning this specific server, and then what the power of the platform here is you are having the scanning data ingested into ServiceNow, and then if the scanning says that there is a bug, then you can just make that policy as non-compliant. Or if there is something wrong that has happened with control, you can say to the SecOps team that hey, can you run a manual scanning? So that's like a brother sister talking in a home, trying to make sure that their home is perfect home and they're taking care of all the different things that go wrong. So what I'm saying is there is because similarly, Qualys also has its predefined policies. Different tests are being done, different sources from where it's collect. So all this data is being handled, being governed, and being taken care of by the configuration compliance module of ServiceNow. So what it does it's gonna be sending the data along with the different VITs or AVIT onto the ServiceNow configuration compliance module, and you can see that what is this policy against which Qualys did this test, and the test result is this. So this kind of configuration related compliance is being assessed with this module. 95% of the people whom you're gonna be meeting are not aware of this module, nor cover this configuration compliance topic in the training, but it is just the Snow Lab which is doing it. I can bet upon it. In my 17 years, I have worked with different company, different training institute, different SMEs, but nobody talks about the configuration compliance because it's something very few people know, and Snow Lab is the one who is providing you. So this gonna be the topic that will find very interesting because no YouTube videos, no training material, no live guidance is there. So we'll do this also. This, like I was just talking about it, just a simple workflow for it, that you're gonna be integrating, you are gonna be collecting the data, you're gonna be monitoring the effectiveness, will be saying whether the test pass or not, and like that. And similarly, just what I just talked about. Okay, so it just a correlation it's just doing, like GRC and configuration compliance, the vulnerability response and configuration. So like they're brother and sisters. They talk which either the GRC of IRM talk with the configuration compliance or vulnerability response and vice versa also. Okay, now let's discuss about the threat intelligence module. So like I was saying initially, the threat intelligence gives the intelligence related to a threat, but there are certain terminologies that we should be aware of, like indicator of compromise. These are the indicators that tell you that something has been compromised. These are the attack mode and method. There are different ways you can be attacked. It can be snooping, it can be phishing, it can be anything, any mechanism that the threat actor are devising right now. Observable are kind of uh, unique identifiable mechanism. It can be your IP, it can be your or specific URL, it can be your MD5, that is like message digest 5 hash key. So these are different things that tells you that this is what is wrong, and then you can create a case out of it, that this is the IOC, these are the observation, and this has happened why this attack mode. Let's create a case to rectify it. So remember that threat intelligence module cannot be implemented standalone. It just substantiate, it just enrich the way you are working in security incident module. So security incident response and threat intelligence work hand in hand. Even you can implement SIR standalone, but it always recommended to go with SIR plus threat intelligence because that's where you'll get the power of the application. But client generally take a very baby step in going with these kind of thing, because these are the security posture for you. They're gonna burst you if something go wrong. So we recommend go with SIR plus TI, but that's how it is. Vulnerability response can be implemented standalone, no relation. But again, vulnerability response, configuration compliance, just provide you the power of the platform. And configuration compliance can be done standalone, but we don't recommend. Never ever client would be doing, because that's how ServiceNow is selling. So they have this licensing model. They have this professional enterprise. So they just sort of bundle it in a way that configuration compliance is not standalone. Yeah, that's like how it is. And like I was saying, you have the integration, you have the security incident response, and threat intelligence. So I told you, threat intelligence cannot be implemented standalone. It just substantiate, it just enrich, it just provide more voice to a SIR instead. That's it. Okay, so that's what I wanted to discuss today, and this just an introductory call. Just don't want to overwhelm all of you with something that is just too much to grasp today. And I know that we have a mixed audience. Like Raghu is new to service now, so I just wanted to make sure that he also learned, and at the same time, we have people from different curve. Like Akash is from the portal part or ITSM. So I mean, I'll just keep it as a baby step. Now this is gonna be the last slide, wherein I just wanted to do the review of the topics. I would be doing it with the facilitator from Snow Labs, and then we'll be discussing about the dates and the attendees. But I just wanted to ask, uh, do you have any questions, any thoughts, anything that's running in your mind, or this session was very overwhelming and you are just sort of thinking that we are at the wrong place? So the floor is open. Please go ahead, take your chance.
Can you
Hey,
tell
John.
me a use case, a simple use case wherein the security or SecOps overlaps with GRC, like a simple use case? How does it work, or with just a
Okay,
simple example?
I'll tell you, Raghu. Okay, Murthy, you also just raise your voice.
Go ahead with this question. Maybe I'll ask a while later. I mean, after this.
Okay, all right, no issue. Uh, Let me just take the same example I was taking, that I have a payroll process. It's running on XYZ application, and it is the payroll process talking to to an application via which the customer can check their transaction, check their salary detail, and then I will be using, and I have a requirement from client saying that, hey, I wanted to make sure that this payroll server should be up and running. I wanted to make sure that all the internal policies should be set in a way that it is always been scanned, it is having zero vulnerabilities. So this is a problem statement for me. So what I'll do is I'll say that, okay, let's go for an IRM wherein we'll have this policy created that payroll process and then payroll server XYZ should always be up and running. So that's gonna be the policy. Now there would be control. The first control that would make sure that this policy is being taken care of is, the first control is doing the daily scanning of the server. The second control can be having a backup available if there is something wrong that has happened. Now, this is something that I'll be doing in the IRM, but the scanning and the backup server thing would be taken up in the SecOps module, because in SecOps only we have this vulnerability response module that get the data of the scanning being done. So if the scanning is having nothing identified, then it's good to go. If there's something wrong that has happened, then I can create a security incident response. I can just activate my backup server and I can pull down the main primary server. So that's how these applications talk together.
Okay, sure, Johnny. Thank you.
Okay, Murti, please go ahead.
Yeah, actually, I would like to understand more about our training structure. So whether we are going to discuss integrations with various CMM tools in this training, and how much in-depth real-time use cases you are going to cover in this program.
Um, okay. Although this is something I want to talk to my facilitator, because there's a mix of the audience. Uh, we can cover the integration also, but I'm just afraid of the people who are just new to ServiceNow or have just started to work on it. But yeah, integration is something we'll show you. I need to talk to them that what gonna be the different topics we shall be covering, how we should be segregating. But Murthy, what we'll do is you can just talk to the facilitator, tell them that this is what interests you a lot, and based upon that, we'll take a call that how to facilitate the integration you're talking about. But if it asks me, we gonna be showing at least one of the integration, because without having the integration data, we won't be able to understand that how it actually works. Like if I just talk about
Right.
college and
Exactly.
don't, yeah, and
Exactly.
don't show you that what kind of data is coming, then it is of no use if you ask me. But if you expect
Right.
we sort of, conferring to the live college instance and then showing you in a real time, I don't think that's would be possible, at least in this session. Are you expecting that kind of thing, Murthy?
Yeah, actually, pretty much I would like to learn the real-time use cases with the integrations. I know integrations are like these are like guided setups. Actually, I
Mhm.
mean it's not like where I want to learn something in the integration side, but I want to relate how the real-time it works,
Ah,
and
okay.
yeah,
That will
that's
be
it more.
covering. Don't worry about that. Will be covering.
Yeah, because
That
I
will be.
remember a while. Yeah, I remember this policy integration, or I mean, these integrations. Most of the integrations are guided setups, right?
Absolutely,
It's
absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely. So these are kind of guided setups. So you're gonna be getting the data into the system,
right,
but understanding the data, making the sense out of it is something that we at Snow Lab are here to support you.
right, right. Got you.
Yeah. So that will be covering Murthy. Don't worry about that. Yeah, that would be. Okay, Akash.
Hi, Johnny. I have the same question in line with what Murthy was saying. So, like, do we have any number of recognized tools which you will be covering in? I mean, you have some names which you'll be covering in this session, like Qualys or CrowdStrike or Zscaler. I mean, do you have any kind of integration you will be covering or
So,
setup or
uh,
yes?
if you talk out of the box, ServiceNow supporting Qualys, Rapid7 Nexpose, and Tenable. So these are three
Hmm.
out of the box for your vulnerabilities, for server vulnerabilities. For application vulnerabilities, it is Veracode out of the box. And even for Qualys also, they have this provision, but that happen when you just put a separate request from your account manager from the company to ServiceNow. But yes, that would be part of it. We'll just discuss one of the tool, not all the tool. We're gonna be showing that what kind of data you have, but you can do that as an offline activity because it's just the data that you will talk with. So if I just talk about Qualys, it is QID data you'll be getting. If I talk about some other tool, maybe Rapid7 Expose, then nomenclature would be different, but the data would be kind of the same. I hope you got the answer, Akash, or still you have something unclear doubt.
So, so in the slide, I think you told us about the six domains where the six kind of tools which are there in the SecOps area, like for detection, SIEM, vulnerability, threat intelligence. Like,
Mhm.
so for each of them, we'll be discussing, or for like, as you said, like single out only one or two integrations that will be
Okay,
discussed,
yeah,
and
yes.
also in that, whether it will be an offline one, like on a theory part, like this day, this data get into service now, and then we can go ahead and do the integration by ourselves.
So it's not gonna be a theory. It would be a practical demonstration we're gonna be showing on the form only. But where is that slide? Yeah. Say for instance, we're gonna be covering Qualys. So it's plug and play. You have the Qualys ID available. You just add the details to it, and it's a guided setup. You just click next, install the plugin. Then the data start to come into the system. So we're gonna be discussing the data, how to sort of structure the data, how to group them, what are the best practice for doing the integration, what are the different data, what are different mechanism by which we should start to get the data. Say for instance, I would touch base upon Qualys, and then in the real sense, what happened is when you just open the integration for Qualys, then avalanche of record come into service now, and that is not at all recommended. So first we talk to the business saying that, hey, let's set up a time date for which you need to get the Qualys related scanning data. You see, if you just start to get the data from start to end, it's gonna explode. So this kind of discussion we're gonna be having in the upcoming session. Makes sense, Akash?
Yes, sir. Okay, Johnny. Yep.
Okay. All right. Himanshu?
Yeah, Johnny, adding on to the previous questions about the topics, and so we have already talked about integration part, but there were other things as well, especially in terms of CMDB. We also discussed orchestration, not discussed, but the slide was having orchestration as well, the CI
Right, right.
mapping, which I believe might be related to service mapping. So again, there are a lot of things, but looking at the slide, and I'm getting an idea that we will be basically covering, like we have ITS and we have incident problem, change, knowledge. So I don't know, but I'm getting an idea that we might be covering the workflows of all these different modules. So I'm confused that will it be only the overview, the workflow, like how SIRs are created and how they are linked to VITs, or are we going to be